Hey guys, welcome back to Blue Archive. In today's video, I wanted to look at some of the best PvP units. We're going to be looking at 3-star and 2-star options as well. On my account here in PvP, we are sitting around rank 3-ish. So I've been playing most days, trying to keep track of it. I've got multiple accounts that I've been playing. This is the only one I'm really playing now, along with a new one that I'm trying to progress through, but the meta seems fairly similar across the board. When I look at them, the one big shifting thing is some people like this guy really like, you can't see it because my head's in the way, but some people really like healers. I personally don't. The 1-star healer, sorry, this one, is my favorite healer because it's only a 2 cost on the heal, and that's pretty much the only reason I would put that healer in a team. But once again, different people, different preferences. But anyway, the site we're going to be looking at to actually go through this is going to be the archive.gg. Now this is a really nice site. As you can see, you can just hover over the characters and you can get a good judge on what they have. Like here you can see their role, their position, the weapon, like the damage type, the defensive type, and their terrains, and also their stats. So you can get all the information except for their actual skills through hovering over, and if you click on them, that's when it's going to take you and show you the exact skills that they have. Now that is really nice. I really like this website, so I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check it out. Also, it's helping me know the characters' names because I suck at names. So basically, what we're going to look at first, we'll go through 3 stars that are very meta at the moment, just for the TLDR, if people don't want to hang around. We're looking at Haruna, we're looking at Shun, we're looking at things like Aru, and I like Lori at the moment. I'm still undecided on the penetration damage dealer to go for. And then we're going to be looking at the damage dealing. Like I said, I personally like the damage meta for special in Karen, Hibiki, and Mashiro. And then I will go through some 2 stars along the way while we're going. But that's just a quick overview. If you can't be bothered hanging around, you just want to know some good units, you might be re-rolling, just getting into the game. That's what you're looking at. Anyway, the first one we're going to look at is Haruna. Now, the reason Haruna is incredibly vital at this stage of the game, she's one of 2 options pretty much for decent damage from Mystic. So basically at the moment, we'll just go back quickly. The best tank by far is the 2-star tank, which is really nice, Tsubaki. And the reason she's so good is, one, she has a defense buff, which isn't a bad one, and a taunt, which is actually handy in some situations. And also she's got self-regeneration, which is really strong once per battle. Really big heal as well. But also because she has that special armor, which is weak against mystic damage. And the only 2 options you have, like I said earlier, is Haruna. And also the other option you have is Chais, or Chais, however you want to say it. But she isn't as strong. She's a 2-star AoE damage based, lower attack, all that stuff. So Haruna is the key one for dealing with the main tank in the game at the moment. So if we look at Haruna, it's basically just line damage with the ultimate. As you can see, 506%, but she does have an incredibly high attack, so that 506% goes a long way off such a high attack. And then she's just got damage on her normal skill, which is also kind of handy. So basically there at the moment, high single target damage. It does go through the target, so you can do extended damage to enemies behind, but basically for that single target burst on the core tank in the meta at the moment with that mystic damage. That's why she is so important. I feel like she will fall off of the meta, but at the moment she's like a vital unit in the top ranks to be able to work. And the next unit we're going to look at is Shun. Now the reason Shun is so valuable, she's got 2 things that I absolutely love about her. Unfortunately on my main account I don't have her at the moment. I'm playing through an alt account that I do have her on, so I absolutely love her. So the 2 things is her ultimate is only 3 cost, which is really nice. Buffs her basic attacks, increase their range as well, meaning that she will snipe mid and back row enemies, and she'll pretty much just one-shot them after she's done her ult. So she's really strong in that sense. On top of that, she's got this. At the start of the combat, she gains 2 skill costs. So mana, energy, whatever you want to call it, you get 2 extra at the start of battle, meaning you can get towards your ults faster, meaning you can sometimes just delete an enemy on their side of the team, depending on what ult you decide, like your team decides to use, the AI decides for you. Really strong. And then the medium-sized enemy thing, I don't think this comes in. I haven't actually looked at the medium-sized thing, whether that comes in against characters. I don't think it does. Again, in PvP, I don't think this applies, but I'll have to double check that. But anyway, these two skills on their own, just like, I don't even care what this is. I've never even translated it till I looked at it on this website. These two skills are just amazing and make her relevant. And she's the kind of unit I feel like will stay relevant in meta. Like, she may fall off a little bit, but she's never going to drop out as much as something like Haruna, who's only there because she's the only Mystic and it's a Mystic defensive meta. So Shun is absolutely amazing, and I feel like she always will be. Moving on from that, we have Aru. Now, Aru is just a really good explosive damage dealer, really strong single target plus AoE. You've got the 274, but you got to add on the 292 to that as well, plus a really high attack, plus basically the same sort of thing, but it's only got a 50% chance to explode on her normal skill, which is really nice. I mean, if that explodes as well, then you get this. She can just really shred lines, and if the enemies are a little bit grouped up, the AoE is just going to do massive damage to the squishies in the back row as well, or the mid row. So incredibly strong unit as well in PvP, just for that raw damage. I just find her to be a great character throughout the whole game. You know, a 4 cost is really balanced for some nice single target and AoE damage. Really, really strong. So the next one I'm going to look at is going to be Lori. Now, she is my preferred penetration damage dealer. We'll talk about why penetration is so nice in a minute, but deals damage equal to 350% of her attack power to an enemy and a fan shape behind them. Now, with this one, she actually attacks 3 times with it. I think the total of it is the 350%, but I don't know. It seems like it's got a really high damage multiplier. It seems like it does more than 350, but I don't think it would do 350 3 times because that would just be insane. But it's a possibility because it just feels like a lot of damage, but that might be because of the passive down here. Deals additional damage equal to 22.6% of her attack power when attacking while not in cover. The thing with this is when she uses her ult, she sort of dances around, and for the 3 shots, she's not in cover, and then she will go back to cover. So really, really nice. And the reason we're looking at the penetration damage dealer is you just want someone with some good, at least single target damage, penetration damage, because in the meta, we're going to look at the secondary tank, which is used in 2 tank teams. Once again, a 2-star, which is really, really nice. But that is going to be Yuka, the one we start off with. The reason she's in there is because she's got the shield, she's a bit stally, and she's just basically the second best tank for this format. Now, she does have the heavy armor, which the heavy armor is nice in this for her because it does counter the Mystic damage. So, you know, you've got the main tank that everyone's using that's weak to Mystic, but then she covers that weakness by having the heavy armor, meaning she resists the Mystic damage. So if you get your placement right, she can avoid that. But just in 2 tank teams, she's the second best tank. Pretty much is the way to look at it. Now, because she is the second most used tank, it is nice to have a strong penetration damage dealer to be able to deal that high damage to her. And for me, when I use Lori, she can almost always one-shot her as a tank. When I say one-shot, I mean using the 3 single shots from this ability can normally punch through it. So that is the reason I do like Lori. Some other options from the 3 stars, you got Saru. I'm just going to call her Creepy Chick. She's really nice. She's also fairly tanky if you look at those HP and defense stats. Also, Samir, she's got the decent defense as well. But as you can say, weaker attack. Creepy Chick, I feel like she takes too long to ramp up with her ability. Like, she's got incredibly high attack, but her ultimate buffs her basic attack to do AoE. But it's really slow from her activating to actually going and doing it. And the couple times I've tried her, she sort of activates it, gets too close, and then dies before she actually does her 2 shots. So I'm not a huge fan of her, but it's definitely an option. What I think is the second best option next to Lori, once again, personal preference, is going to be Zunko. Probably butchered that name, but the reason she's so cool is she's a 2-star. She's the one we get 40 shards with at the start of the game, and if you didn't do the tutorial summon where you summon her with shards and you waited till you actually summoned her, you have 40 extra shards. She's farmable from 3 stages, really quick to get to 3-star, and eventually she'll get to 4-star and 5-star, and eventually overtake the other penetration damage dealers, in my opinion. Now, the reason she is sick, she's got a decent attack. Like, it's not crazy, but it's decent, but deals damage equal to 746% attack power against enemies within a straight line. So really strong single target, but also that penetration damage dealing it through multiple enemies. Her passive is wicked as well. I find her really strong in the double tank, in a double tank team with like Haruna and her, and then 2 damage dealing specials. Really, really strong because she does have this immunity, invulnerability when she falls below 20% for 12.8 seconds, which is really, really nice. She's got evasion on top of that, and this. When attacking, she deals an additional 0.9 to 4.9% damage in proportion to her missing HP. So she loses HP, she gets invulnerability, she does more damage based on her missing HP. I don't know exactly how this multiplies out, but she can deal some really nice damage and also stall out for a period of time. So even if your 2 tanks fall and, you know, both teams are down to like 2 units or something like that, you get an extra 12.8 seconds out of her, plus you have 2 damage dealing specials, you're gonna probably clear the enemy team. So really, really nice 2-star to look at. Like I said, the prime 2-stars at the moment seem to be the 2 tanks and her, in my opinion. On top of that, like I said, if you're into the healing metal, Fuka's really nice. I'm not into the healing meta at all. The only healer, like I said, that I like to use is going to be, if I can find her, Serena, because she's only got a 2 cost on her heal, which is really cheap. And, you know, if the AI screws up, you're still getting a kind of heal, I guess, but not a massive fan. The next things I wanted to look at is going to be the special damage dealers. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of the healing meta. I know some people really are, so take this with a grain of salt. I really like Karen, Hibiki, and Mashiro. Now, I prefer Karen. Like, Karen and Mashiro are single target, both same sort of function. And then Hibiki's AoE. She's got Explosion, but Explosion's not too bad because it's AoE. Now, Karen is better than Mashiro in my opinion because we have penetration damage versus explosion damage. And the penetration damage is going to be strong against the second best tank and neutral against Tsubaki, who is the best tank. Whereas if we look over here at Mashiro, she's going to be neutral against Yuka, but weak against Tsubaki. So that's the reason she falls off. She is only a 3 cost on her ability as well. However, I just like Karen more. So a basic team that you can look at building is going to be something like Tsubaki plus Yuka. And then you can throw in a Zunko as a free-to-play option. And then, you know, whatever 3-star damage you have, if you have an Aru, optimally you'd want a Haruna or a Shun. For the lower ranks, you could probably even throw in a Chise to be able to cheese. I don't even know how to say her name, to be honest. Chise. I got no idea. You can throw in something like that for free-to-play. But obviously we are going to have those optimal units. You got like Shun, like 100% fantastic. And if you do have those damage dealing options up here for these guys, that's what I do put in. Otherwise, you can fall back to the healing meta and put in something like a Fuka and a Serena and try and go like that. But that is a basic recap on it. Like I said, there's a few really good 2-stars in there, in the Zunko, Yuka, and Tsubaki. So hopefully between those guys and whatever 3-stars you've pulled, you can piece together a decent team. Now, there are other good units out there, but those are just my top picks at the moment. I am working on a tier list. I just want to sort out the mid and lower tiers before I actually put that out. But if you guys have any other suggestions of students that you're using in PvP and finding great success with, feel free to put it in the comments. But thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.